Jedi Knights and Sith Lords, and welcome to the Star Wars Artifacts show. Tonight, we have a pretty jam packed show for you guys. We're going to talk everything about Ahsoka, but we have a lot of announcements and cool stuff to talk about. So, hopefully, you enjoy yourself for the next hour with us. And as usual, I'm with my buddy Eric. How are you doing, my friend?
I'm doing good, and yourself?
Yeah, pretty good. Yeah,
Good, good.
I shot a nice review this week. Which is on the helmet you only about 2 weeks ago.
Hmm.
Uh, it's the
Range trooper.
range trooper
Yep.
helmet, yeah. So it was pretty fun shooting that, and I learned some stuff about the range trooper. So
Some slight
it was cool.
inaccuracies and with the helmet, I think.
Yeah, a little bit, yeah, with the
Yeah.
visor stuff like that. But
Still very
you
nice. I
know,
think it's a
overall, it's
different
pretty cool
makeup.
helmet, yeah.
Yeah,
Hmm.
different makeup than the ones I've seen you have, and even the ones that I have from Black Series. But it's going to be interesting. I'm curious to know what you have and what you think of it compared to all the
And
other
I don't
stuff you have.
think the Black Series will in the near future make one of these helmets. So
Range
it's
Trooper,
pretty cool to have.
that
Yeah.
is not even that's not even anywhere near the top of the list, and probably not even
Oh
on the
yeah,
list. I mean, it's such a we see him for what? I mean, a few minutes on the train in the solo scene, and
that's it.
that's about it. So
Yeah, I searched around the web and I couldn't find anything else. So
even the patrol trooper, what's the kind of like scout-ish trooper from Solo, seemed to have a lot
yeah,
more
halfway
attention.
between Scout Trooper and
Yeah.
Stormtrooper. Yeah, that helmet looks cool as well. I wouldn't mind having one of those helmets at some point
Yeah.
when they
I've actually
redesign them.
considered building that one. I might actually reconsider instead of the one I was thinking of next, but I think that's definitely one of the cooler ones. But the range trooper is just like, even that as a costume, no one's gonna build that. The boots, I mean, I maybe some have,
Oh
but the
yeah,
boots are just crazy insane, and
it's
it's a
gonna be a
mix of
nightmare.
like a snow trooper as well and all that. So you'd be dying in a convention if you're wearing that thing. So
Yeah, now that I'm in some process with the 501st,
yeah,
I'm starting to pay more and more attention to costumes.
yeah,
And
the
I was like,
details.
whoa, those boots must be a nightmare to do if someone want to be in the 501st with
Yeah.
that costume.
Well, you're starting to learn exactly like where it's the I guess the pros and cons of being accepted, and it's not to the
Hmm.
smallest details. So if anyone who doesn't know, it's basically the approval process is, it's some people seem to confuse it with being pretentious and having the best costume, but it's really for the accuracy, and it's for
Okay.
making sure, especially for the stormtrooper side, you were Darth Vader, that when you visit the children, whether it be in the hospital, that there's no doubt that they're seeing the real one, right? So
Yeah.
they want to be as accurate as obviously if you show up with a Walmart costume made out of foam, you know, your wish.com version of a stormtrooper, the kids have a good eye, right? They notice that stuff. But
Absolutely.
the thing is, like, this that accuracy is really across all costumes. So whether you be an officer, a stormtrooper, or anything like that, you have to have, they have to have the same standards.
Hmm.
And in this case, you have some little minor things to adjust, but you're on a good path to
Oh yeah,
being among the
I'm not
group
even
soon.
worried. It's
So
just a little bit postponed.
yeah, but it'll happen soon. I'm pretty
Hmm.
sure of it. So today, what we wanted to touch is a few subjects. Funny because we're never really sure what we're going to talk about from one week to the next when there's no um, real content in terms of shows and stuff like that. But
Hmm.
all of a sudden, I'm starting to worry if an hour is enough time for what we have for this week. So I think it's important that we acknowledge the interview that we had with Joe.
Last
It was
week.
posted last Friday. It was such an incredible reception on the part of the viewers, and Joe had some really kind words to say for about us. Said it was the best interview he's had ever.
Hmm.
Um, it was shared by Gentle Giant, which was greatly or well represented, I think, in the
Yeah.
interview. For us, on a personal note, I mean, as you know, we don't make any money off of this yet, and we're not in it to make money at all. I mean, and the money we do, hopefully, I think is we're trying to invest back into this project. But For
Hmm.
us, it gave us great progress. This video ended up being our top five in the last 90 days. So the last 3 months of videos, it's in our top fives in terms of hours viewed, and it's our most viewed in terms of hours in the last month. So it was just it took off really well, and it's great that people enjoyed the content.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you want to add anything to that.
Well, just that, the fact of being acknowledged by Gentle Giant. I mean, that felt rewarding for me because of all the efforts I've been putting on this channel for almost 3 years. On July 7th, it's going to be the channel's third 3 year anniversary. So, it's a lot of energy. As you said, I've never made any money with the channel so far. But yeah, finally, I'm starting to think that, the project is going somewhere. And hopefully, it will just expand and grow up. And, you know, some people are starting to watch those interviews we've done with Rocco Tartamella as well and Tom Spina. And well, you're starting to get a little lineup for us. Why don't you talk about that?
Yeah, so it's a good segue, I guess, into what's next, and that's
Mm-hmm.
some guests, and we've kind of alluded to it a little bit. Um, so as our guest announcement's official, we've have our dates pretty much set up. Well, for our interviews being posted is going to be a different story, but so in the coming weeks, you'll see one with Simon Gauvin, and he's the our garrison commanding officer for the 501st here in Quebec. So he's basically in charge when we kind of like got our own garrison in Quebec. So we kind of pulled out of the not pulled out, but like we're no longer the Canadian garrison. So we manage our own events and all that stuff. We all follow the same guidelines, of course. So he's our commanding officer. I think he's been in his position for 3 years or so, a little bit more than 3 years.
Something like that, yeah.
He's the one on the right that you see there. Um, and then is Gerald Holmes is the guy that's holding the figurine there. Recently passed away, but he was our kind of like godfather of the garrison.
Yeah.
So yeah, unfortunately he passed away. But so yeah, the guy on the right, Simon, is going to be joining us. It's going to be a French interview, so for French
Our
viewers,
very first, yeah.
yeah, you're gonna have a little break from the English, but you won't have to need a translator or anything like that. But so excited to have Simon on. Our guest, another one that we're gonna have is Mickey Bukowski, and he is the detachment leader of the 501st Pathfinders. So he'll explain a little bit more how it works, but within the 501st, you have all the big 501st Legion. And then you have what they call detachments. So one for the officers, one for the scout troopers, and there's multiple stormtroopers that fall within that.
Mm-hmm.
You have the TKs, the stormtroopers that fall within that. You have the Sith Legion. I'm not familiar with all of them, but there's a ton of groups that are that fall within that, and because of that, it helps to, I guess, alleviate some of the workload and creating CRLs, which is the guidelines to
Yeah.
creating costumes and everything like that. So Mickey Liebkowski, he's out in California. He has a great story too from last couple weeks where he went to visit the forest where where Endor was set and everything like that. So really excited to talk to him. I've spoken to him. Can't even tell you how many times through the
Mm-hmm.
chats. Will be my first conversation
Nice.
um, with him. And maybe I'll let Dom introduce who we have. It's our first one. We've been kind of coy on it, haven't really been revealing who it is, but we have our first actor that is
First
going to be
actor
coming
from the
up.
Star Wars saga, yeah. So it's Dominic Pace, who played an alien in Mandalorian season one. Well, I guess I'll let him talk about the role and everything. His name was Gecko in the series, and he was one of the four uh, henchmen for Grief Karga when they go back to Navarro before they get caught by Moff Gideon. So yeah, it's gonna be
He was in the
pretty
final
cool
scene when
show.
they got Grogu out of there, and Grief got shot by Mando and everything. It was just anyway, it's really exciting for us, I think, to finally
Hmm.
have someone it'll be interesting to see. I mean, he does so much. If you follow him on Facebook, I've been friends with him on Facebook for a few years, and we chat occasionally and everything like that. So that's why I've always been in touch. But he does crazy stuff. He's always posting stuff like, well, what's going on in his acting career. He has a movie coming out this summer. He'll maybe talk to us about that.
Okay.
He's posting stuff about cooking. He sings. He does like national anthems at baseball games and sporting events. It's just incredible. Like this guy
A
is,
true artist, yeah.
yeah, a wide range of a true talent. It's so
Or
looking
shed of
forward.
skills.
Yeah, really looking forward to having a conversation. You could talk to us about Disney and all that, working and life after, and he did a lot of charity work afterwards using that character for good and everything like that. So
Nice.
it'll be fun to have a chat with him. And on that note, we'd like to invite anyone who's watching who is either an artist, um, actor, whatever, or even if you're just a big fan or collector, if you
Yeah.
want to have us join us for a chat or anything like that, we're always open. It's always fun just to have this conversation. It alleviates some of the workload off of Dom as well, to have to put out reviews every week, and we can have a good conversation with someone. And
And it alleviates my wallet
yeah,
as well.
yeah. So anyone who
And
wants
we
to,
spoke about going to Disney, and going to Disney is not cheap at all. So,
no, no,
I gotta earn some savings a little bit. So,
yeah. So we haven't
and
gone
I'll
the
come back with some goodies
yeah,
from Disney,
exactly.
and those goodies will be featured on the channel ultimately. So, as you said earlier, it's all about investing in the channel and stuff like that. So,
Putting out interesting content, and
yeah,
sharing the collection with everyone, stuff that people in some cases can't afford. But if you can have them and show them and showcase it, then great. So if anyone's out there, if you want to chat, if you're a big collector, or if you just want to have a chat with us, just reach out.
hmm,
We'd be happy to do it. So on that note, there's something that Dom you just got recently, right?
yeah, I got it last Friday. So I purchased a Savage Press Kyber crystal from Crafted Cores. I've been buying those crystals for a while now, from since I think it's day one when I started the channel. I made a first video which was exclusively in French before I began making videos in both languages. But in more recent future, I did some sort of an update because at first they were making like two color crystals, like they look like the Disney crystal, but they are dual sided. So there's the top of the crystal would be like yellow and the bottom would be purple, and you inverse them in your Savage Workshop lightsaber, and basically it's two crystals in one.
Hmm.
But more recently, they began carving characters in their crystals, which I think is a pretty darn good idea. They made like a Darth Vader crystal in their limited edition, as you can see. So there's always like a backstory to the crystal, and as you can see, I have number 25 out of 100. So it's pretty. It's not a big run, so you gotta watch the website frequently and make sure you don't miss anything. And yeah, that's what I do. I got a cool Ahsoka crystal as well a few months ago. And there it is
Brothers.
with my Darth Maul. Yeah, the two brothers. So uh, fun stories that the base does not come
Yeah, I was about to say
with the
that's a
camera
pretty nice
crystal,
base. Yeah.
but it's from a competitor. But yeah, the base is from House Kybers. Uh, but I think they just fit like perfectly
Yeah.
on those bases, and it looks like the crystal just grew from the that gem, So it's pretty fun. So yeah, so hello to our viewers, James and Vukasin. Nice to see you guys on the chat. So yeah, it's a pretty fun addition to my collection. I think I have like I don't know, I want to maybe like 20, 25 custom kyber crystals,
Hmm.
if not more.
Well, yeah, I remember because we went. I went over to Dom's house 2 weeks ago,
I think yeah.
and we were trying to test some of the. We were looking at the I guess the holders that I bought for the
Mm-hmm.
crystals for the lightsaber holder, the new one from Savvy's workshop. It's
Yeah.
from Savvy's, right? That they sell it. And,
They used to
didn't
sell it at Savvy's. Now I think it's sold at Dockondars and Antiquities.
okay. Not Savvy's. Yeah, that's what I meant. Doc Ondor. So, anyway, so these little crystal holders, and I remember taking out. I mean, Dom has like two trays full of crystals, and so even though I have like what 4 or 5, he's got like two full trays of all these customs. They look really nice. And they
Yeah. So
most of them they have the voice in there too, right? I think.
yeah,
Yeah.
the fun part is that if you take my yellow and purple kyber crystal, which actually there's a story behind that. I should have sent you some pictures to show maybe next week. Uh, when my trip to Disney was canceled in 2020 because of COVID, I discovered that website of Crafted Core through another YouTube channel. And I was speaking with the crystal maker, and he was like moved with my story, and he felt sorry for me because my trip was canceled and everything. And he said, "Well, what if I made you a unique kyber crystal? Just to ease your sadness and your pain, stuff like that." So I was like really touched, and I was like, "Okay, cool." He said, "You pick the colors, and it's gonna be your unique kyber crystal." So I asked for a yellow and purple crystal because I wanted to build a protection and defense Savage Workshop lightsaber, and I just thought that those two colors kind of fitted with the team. So, and I asked for the Temple Guard on the yellow tip, and obviously it's Space Windu for the purple. And they ended up liking the idea so much that they asked me if it bothered me that if that crystal would become the official protection and defense crystal. So if you go on the Crafted Core website and you look at the protection and defense crystal, you'll see like thanks to Dominic for his help getting this crystal done and stuff like that. So they acknowledged my input on the crystal, and they ended up making another unique crystal for me. Well, actually, they sent me two, and it's a blue, red, and green crystal. I have two of them. One as Qui-Gon Jinn and Darth Maul, and the other one as Obi-Wan and Darth Maul. And they are like my Duel of the Fates kyber crystals, and they are unique, and only I have those two crystals. So fun story, and it was my first collaboration with some sort of a business, in the Star Wars area.
No,
So
I wish I would have had them in the presentation.
yeah, well, remind me to send you some pictures for next week.
Sounds good.
I'll be able to show.
We got another thing that we are going to start doing on the page, and we have a couple memes here. I just put a couple here so that you have. Oh, sorry about that. So you can't describe the entire prequel trilogy with just one quote. Calm down, Anakin. Like basically, it's funny because it does kind of embody the that whole story. But like, so this is something that we see, especially if you're in groups, Star Wars memes, and we want to try to feature maybe like the top 5. So what we're gonna do is on the group from now on, maybe post like a memes of the week, where people can go on and just submit their favorite memes, or
Yeah.
even if it's repeat, whatever. I mean, we've all seen a lot of them already. This one I thought was pretty funny. So I'm getting my own spin-off. Your own spin-off. Ahsoka, the Antona Clone Wars is your spin-off. It's true. Like in reality, it's basically.
And I almost can hear Ewan McGregor's voice, when I read the quote.
Yeah. So we're gonna post that on the group. So if you're not following the Facebook group, please follow the group and Star Wars Art. I think it's at Star Wars Artifacts.
Yeah, that's
Um,
it.
the link I think will be below.
Hmm.
And join that group and look for the post. I think weekly we're gonna put something memes of the week or something like that, and we'll post the
And you'll be
top
able
five
to
and
reply like with your meeting. So
yeah, your favorite ones, and we'll post our favorites and give credit to whoever shared it and try to
absolutely.
get something that interesting. So just to add a little bit of humor um, to the story. But one thing that we're gonna do now as well is our famous contest that we held
Artwork. Yeah,
for the
artwork. Wow.
artwork. Yeah, so this was
So
for the
Christian GVT never claimed his prize.
yeah.
I tried to reach him multiple times, but there was no way I could send him like a private message.
Hmm.
Uh, when he liked some of my posts, I tried to,
Reply
put a
and
reply
whatnot. Yeah,
below and say, "Hey, Christian, you've won the contest." But
but no
unfortunately,
news is good news
yeah,
for
for
everyone
the other,
else. Yeah.
yeah,
So what we're gonna do is we're gonna do it again. We're gonna draw it the same way we did it last time. So the third click, just to make sure that there's nothing funny going on, is gonna be the winner. So don't get too excited if you're watching and you show up in the first two. Unfortunately,
yeah. Sorry
you are
about that.
just, I guess, a runner-up. So let's start with
But
the.
it doesn't mean your name won't come up on the third spin, right?
Oh no,
So
I've done this. I've tested a few times, and I've had the same name come up twice in a row, which was doesn't happen
cool.
often, but it's happened. So I'll go to the first one. So this is the first non-winner.
First runner-up.
Sorry, I think it's right in the middle there. Sorry, David. Um, let's hope your name comes up again. Second spin. Again, this for the Fallen Order Calcustis artwork from Denny Hut.
See, Eric
Sorry.
Bélanger. Okay.
And this is it. This is our new winner. Hopefully,
And the
they
next
will
one is the
answer
right one.
to
Yeah.
our private message or direct message. The winner of the artwork is. Oh! See? We said
That's
it.
it.
David Santander. So his name did come up twice. So, see, don't lose hope next time. So, David, congratulations if you're watching. If not, we will reach out.
We'll try to contact you
Yeah,
through Facebook.
please answer. We would
Yeah.
love to get this artwork and done this collaboration. Hopefully, wasn't for nothing.
Sure.
Great piece. Otherwise, you know what? This person doesn't answer. I'm keeping it. So tough beans. So we have plenty of time, which is good. We're running pretty quick. So I'm going to take the time to talk about this because I've
Mhm.
actually taken the time to learn how to play. I went to the local card shop where there's plenty of games of mostly Pokemon and Magic the Gathering. But one guy who's very adept to playing this, and he mentioned it's like a game called Ascension. I thought
Mhm.
that sounded like a Star Wars game, but it's not. So
Okay.
its playability is, he said, is very similar to that. So I finally learned how to play, and I started playing with my kids. That every night one of them asked me to play,
Okay.
and it's
So that's a
pretty
good sign.
cool. Yes, the artwork is great. On this, it's like it's all it's all artwork and like hand, I don't know, but it's there's no real photos. It's fun to see all the abilities and all this stuff. The game is not that difficult to pick up and play. Basically, if you look, there's
So for someone who never played like a deck building game, how does it work? You go to the
so
basics.
if you play like a Pokemon game, you'll start with a full deck of like 60 cards, and what you have in there is what you're pulling out is luck of the draw kind of thing. A deck building game, which is what I've learned, is what happens is there's a big row in the middle of cards.
Yeah.
Um, you can use your points and your stuff to buy cards from there, and it's to your benefit to buy these cards because you're building your deck. So as like when you start with like a Pokemon or something, a game, you have 60 cards. Now you have 10. You want to build your deck. So you're reshuffling once you run out and you redraw cards and then you redraw cards and redraw cards. But the stuff you're buying from the middle is what's building your deck to be powerful. So if you can buy like, for example, here you have like your Luke Skywalker and your Darth Vader. That yellow is their I guess it's their power. I guess their
The
HP.
strength.
Yeah, the strength is under. It's like this 6 with a little gun and stuff like that. And then there's the ability what it says under. So if you look at Luke, it says if the force is with you, there's a little meter of the force. Destroy a capital ship of your opponent has in play. So you basically the point of the game you're trying to kill three of the planets of your opponent's planets.
Okay.
And if you have like a capital ship, it protects it. So if you attack that planet, you're gonna have to go through the capital ship first.
Mm.
I don't know if it'll show you here. No, you don't see but you see the planets that are there on the left. You have the
Mm-hmm.
Death Star and all that stuff. And right next to it is actually a capital ship. So, the Death Star there shows it says 16 HP. Basically, you have to hit it for 16. But if that capital ship's in front of it, you have to break him first before you can damage the Death Star. So that ability for Luke Skywalker says you can automatically break that. You don't have to actually shoot it. It automatically
Mm.
gets destroyed. But that's obviously
Okay.
one of the more powerful cards you can get. So again, what you can do is if you look at that card at the bottom, you see there's an upside down eight. It's right side up the same thing, but it says upside down is reward. You can gain like what's called like credits and stuff like that. So when that card is in the middle, if your opponent hasn't bought it, if you're the Empire, you can only buy Imperial cards. If you're the Rebels, you can only buy the Rebel cards, right?
Okay.
So what you can do is while it's in there, and if he hasn't bought it yet because you couldn't afford it or whatever, you can actually kill that card and remove it from the row so he can't purchase it. So you're trying to prevent
Okay.
the guy from building a strong deck at the same time. So there's a lot going on, but it's fairly easy to play. I mean, my kids are 7 and 9, and they totally get it. Um,
Okay.
so it's
So
fairly
that's
fun.
reassuring.
And what I wanted to mention is that we're gonna try to do like maybe a playthrough of the game, or even maybe I'll try to do a more of a full review on it of a
Mm-hmm.
video. So maybe if anyone's interested in learning more about the game, again, it's a little bit intimidating at first, but it's super easy once you get the gist of it. And again, like I learned this over an hour with uh, the guy at the comic book store, so it took a while to play the first game. But then after that,
Hmm.
you're talking about 20-25 minutes a game. So super cool and super easy.
I agree with Vukasin. He says that it sounds like a cool game, and yeah, I can't wait to learn more about it.
Yeah, definitely. So I'll look out for that video. I'll try to put something out, or you can look at like gameplay videos as well. But if you're just a bit patient, I'll put it out. Or even and then just go pick it up. It's like maybe $50 or so, like Canadian. So
Hmm.
I don't know what it is
That's
in
so
US.
expensive. Even
And
cheaper, I'm sure. Maybe like $40 or
yeah,
35.
and it's a quick game to play. Again, 20-25 minutes. They say you could play 2 versus 2, but you need two decks. So
Okay.
there's no way I'm doing that. But it's just fun to play. Like again, it's very classic. It's mostly all the original trilogy. I don't remember seeing it. There's no Mandalorian or anything like that. I think that they do have Cassian Andor though and stuff like that in there. So there is some
Okay.
Rogue
Well,
One.
I guess
Yeah,
that if that version has some sort of success, they'll eventually maybe make. Could they make like an expansion set?
I I guess they could, but what's coming now from Fantasy Flight Games, as far as I can understand, is that they have, and I think I mentioned last time, they're gonna have their own game, which is a bit more like Pokemon, where you'd be able to buy packs and
Okay.
build your deck that way. This is like a deck building game. You buy the game, you get all the cards you need. Whereas
Mm-hmm.
Pokemon, you just collect, you get rare cards and so on and so forth. So that's coming out shortly. Well, next year actually. So it'll be popular. And actually, it's a good segue to the Lorcana, which I've mentioned in the past. That's
Let
Disney's
me just
version.
cut you for a second.
Yeah,
Vukasin is asking, in what store can you buy it?
it's mostly you can find it. You can find it online. I think Amazon has it, but usually your toy specialty games, like whether it be card collecting or just like those specialty stores. I don't know. It
Where they
depends where
sell
you're
table
located.
games?
Yeah, exactly. Table games. I don't think you'll find that at like your Toys R Us, or I mean, still have Toys R Us in Canada, but like your WalMarts, you won't find it in that. It's mostly your specialty, like you
Or
said, your
Target? Yeah.
tabletop games and stuff like that, where you can buy, you know, more educational or like board games and things like that. So it's not everywhere, but your best bet might also just be Amazon or online. Just look it up online. I'm sure you'll find plenty of online vendors that can sell it.
Well,
Um,
if it's on Amazon, I'll try to add an affiliate link in the description.
yeah, yeah, it's a good idea. So based on that, is Lorcana is the game I was mentioning. Is basically it's Disney's answer to Pokemon. They're gonna have same thing, buy packs and stuff like that, starter kits and all this stuff. And this one game, I was speculating that maybe they would use their license to have Star Wars expansions in the game. But
Hmm.
right now, they seem to be in a little bit of hot water because Upper Deck is actually suing them, Ravensburger, because I think it's from what they're saying is I think is they developed a game for Upper Deck, which was exactly that, and they didn't follow through with it, and now they just gave it to someone else. So that game might possibly get delayed. So we'll see what's going to happen about with that. But that was supposed to come out, I think, in August. So we'll
And
see what happens now.
Ravensburger, correct me if I'm wrong, but they're the same company behind the Villainous games.
I don't know. You have my game there, so
Yeah.
yeah. But I don't mean to have my game. My other game is upstairs. But I think this game, if I'm not wrong, is I can't see the. Not sure if yeah, it's Fantasy Flight Games. So from what I
Okay.
understand, I think Fantasy Flight Games has the license for Star Wars for card games. So,
Mhm.
but I think Villainous is Disney, so I'm not sure how that works. But yeah, so if you haven't had a chance, it's a cool game. And just follow up on last week, when we had our talk about the Black Spire and our trip. I didn't take too long. I got both books that Nick
I know you
recommended.
ordered them while we were speaking and while we
Yeah.
were, filming the show, so
So yeah, I actually ordered them
it came in
at the
pretty
same
quickly.
time. Yeah, they came in. So I got this one in paperback. Haven't started it
Nice.
yet. Looking forward to it. It's going to be ready for the trip. And this book is actually really cool. It's really like a guide to Galaxy's Edge and Batu and everything like that. There's not much I could show you here, but it's really cool guide that they made. I already leafed through it a little bit, and it's really cool. So if you have any intentions or any interest in that world, pick those up as well. Um, and then
Vukasin is asking on the chat if we are brothers. So, well,
no,
we might as well be. Uh, and the funny thing is that we became friends like, what, a year ago? When I purchased
uh,
your Scout Trooper helmet, we had a
at your
nice
birthday,
chat.
yeah,
And then I invited you for my birthday, and the rest is history.
it's almost a year to this day about yeah, because it was like right
Yeah.
after you bought the helmet, I think. Yeah,
Yeah, and I think it was in June that I made the review. So yeah, I must have called you around that time. So
Scout Trooper, the helmet that's right there behind you.
it's right there, and you gave me the blaster for my birthday.
Yeah,
So
now you just need the rest of the outfit. That's not happening. I'm not giving you anything.
nope, not happening.
It's staying back there. But yeah, yeah, it's been a year. I think just a little bit over a year, or just
And
about.
it felt natural. As if we knew each other for a long time, and it was pretty cool. And can say the same thing about Nico Crank, who was with us two weeks ago. No, last week.
Last
Last
week,
week, yeah.
yeah.
So
It's confusing. We did two
he,
things last week, so it makes us think like we did two
yeah,
different weeks. But
he saw my first two or three videos on the channel, and I guess he felt some pity with my video editing skills, and he just reached out to me and said, "Well, hey, would you like if I took the load of editing the videos?" And I was like, "Well, you can do worse than me, so yeah, go ahead if you want to do it. I'd love it." And if you watch the first videos that he did, he even took his video editing skills up like several notches,
oh
and
yeah,
he keeps like adding some features and stuff like that. And he's passionate. He likes doing video editing, so he's self-taught. But yeah, he's doing a pretty good job. So
and it's all
it would
again. No one makes money doing this. Everyone that contributes to this show, whether it be Marie Claude with her thumbnails and
graphic skills, yeah,
graphic designs and Nico and even me. To go back to what you were, we how we met and how we started doing this is you were looking for someone English spoken, I guess, and to do the
yeah.
show, and I had never done any of this, and now all of a sudden here I am, like changing things and doing things like this, which I've never done. And I bought the equipment again on my dime, and I had to actually I bought a laptop out of frustration because the other one was like slow and I couldn't do videos and all this stuff. So they've just been fun. So it keeps me at home a little bit as well. It keeps
And
me
our
busy
streams
and
are getting better and better as well. If
yeah,
you watch the first 4 or 5 streams, I mean, we
God,
were in our learning process. Yeah,
super
I think
shy
it's better
and
to listen to them on Spotify and Apple because it's you won't see the mess on the screen,
yeah.
and my English has improved as well. I think at least,
I've
and
never really had much of an issue with it, but yeah, I mean, I'd have to go back and listen to one of the first ones, but I think
well,
or
confidence is definitely more
yeah,
present for me.
yeah.
Uh, I think I was like stuttering a little bit in the first few podcasts, but now I'm like, well, if they like it, good. If you don't, good as well. I mean,
Like and
it's a free
subscribe
world.
even if you don't like it.
Yeah, that's well, some people are coming back, and that's just encouraging. So great timing for the like and subscribe
Uh, so let's move on to the next. And I think
topic.
yeah, I think you wanted to bring up and us having the benefit of getting some of the Star Wars stuff. We got some nice photos in our email.
Yeah, because this week almost felt like Ahsoka was getting released next week. There was so much stuff revealed. There were some images from Empire magazine that came out. We received them yesterday without the watermark, so that's pretty cool. On this image, well, we see Ahsoka on what seems to be on a ship with a map of the galaxy. I would assume that Coruscant is somewhere deep in the middle, and we get to explore the outer rim. So I expect that Grand Admiral Tron is somewhere hidden in those sectors of the outer rim, and yeah, so it's pretty cool. And
We got a little
on
bit more
that one,
context.
we got to see Sabine with the short hair, because I know that people were wondering why she had long hair and stuff like that. But
Yeah, so I was about to say that because I just, when it clicked when I saw that photo that she has a short hair, but and then they talk about, the speculation behind the lightsaber that she has there.
yeah,
And in the trailer, which we'll see shortly, I'll have it playing in the background. We see her wielding it, right? So and with the long
yeah,
hair. So I'll let you. I know you're reading the chat there, but I think it was he was asking if there's a
yeah.
room.
The room tour. Yeah, I did a room tour like last. I filmed in November, but it was released during the holidays. So yeah, you'll get to see a whole bunch of my collection. It's pretty cool, and I'll try to make a new video like once a year just to give the update, because the fun fact with being a collector is that the room is always evolving. It
Except
could be
mine.
fun, and it could be a headache as well, because where am I going to put this? Where am I to move that piece and stuff like that? And I don't like to have like a cramped space. You know,
No, you don't want to look
each
like a flea market, right? Like
That's
it's
it.
got yeah,
So everything has to be at the right place and
yeah.
well displayed. And well, if you guys watch my secret addiction video, on which I talk about my addiction for Star Wars mugs, which is one of the funniest video I got to shoot for the channel. Well, the mugs are slowly getting, displaced and moved to the basement, because I'm definitely running out of space. There are more and more lightsabers coming from the legacy sabers. You see the two columns with my sabers, and on another wall, I have another two columns like that with more lightsabers. and some bugs that are gonna get moved downstairs. So
Yeah, check
yeah,
out
it's
this
getting
video. You're gonna
pretty
see everything in that.
pretty epic.
Well, we can maybe post a link as well if based on that in the chat afterward in the comments.
Yeah, for sure.
Uh,
So I was speaking about Ezra. So one thing that we can notice is that she must have the smallest armor of all Mandalorians I ever seen.
yeah, no kidding.
I mean, no protection on the elbows, nothing on the thighs. Uh, yeah, it's pretty basic. I guess it's good for the
Mobility. Yeah,
for fighting and
yeah,
mobility. Yeah. You as a scout trooper must know about that for
yeah,
sure.
yeah,
And
definitely.
as you mentioned, we see Ezra's lightsaber next to her little pouch, which is practically identical to the one that was released on both shopdisney.com and both Galaxy's Edge parks. So the fun thing is that we get to see her wield it and go head to head with Shin Hati, which is Ray Stevenson's character, like a sort of apprentice. So that's pretty cool. The blade is green, as it was in the Rebel series, and yeah,
Which I
it's
started catching
pretty.
up on, but we'll get to that also in a little bit because I wanted
Yeah,
to talk about the best way to prepare for Ahsoka. But if we continue going through these shots, we have Snake Eyes here from G.I. Joe.
that's it.
So been the comparison has been made. So obviously some
Confirmed. Snake Eyes has
yeah,
been moved to
exactly.
the
Ray
Star
Park
Wars
is
universe.
back.
Yeah,
But an Inquisitor here. A lot of speculation. Star Killer. Well, that'd be awesome if it was Star Killer. Ezra, which would be really cool. Cool twist. The eighth brother, which we're gonna defunct that one, Plo
yeah,
Koon, and name it. So all this speculation, but Mythbusters Dom over here is ready to tell us and at least cancel the fact that it's not the eighth brother. And why is
yeah,
that?
exactly. So that picture is taken from the Rebel series, and if you notice carefully to the end holding the lightsaber, you'll notice that the character only has four fingers. That picture shows it a little bit better. And the picture we saw from the Empire magazine shows five fingers. So it cannot be that character unless they've made like some serious changes to the series, some sort of changes to the
Well,
storyline.
I guess
I
the
wouldn't call that like
helmet
a
too, right?
major change, but
Yeah. But the helmet too would make sense because there's no way that if it is what it is, that it would fit theoretically in
yeah.
that helmet, right? And the reason being, as I'll let you describe it.
So the reason is that the A brother is a Terrarian Django jumper. Things are pretty funny. Life, it's pretty weird. I began my Clone Wars rewatch 2 weeks ago. I'm into season two, and in that season, there's an episode where Ahsoka loses her lightsaber, and she and Terra Sinube, that we see on the picture, uh, go into like some sort of an investigation to find out, who has stolen the lightsaber, and we get to see what a Tyrian Django jumper looks like. So that's the lady in pink,
You can see by the
and
hand there, right?
I was like, was it the eighth brother? I had some, so I made a little research, and yeah, there it was. He was a Tyrian Django jumper, which ultimately made me think, oh, that's not the guy we saw on the picture from Empire magazine.
And he's also, according to, he's dead, the eighth brother. I mean, he.
Yeah, well, he fell off the Sith temple
Oh, yeah.
on
I guess when you
Malachor on the
fall
Rebel
off
series.
something really high, you never die in Star Wars, but I mean,
That's it. If Maul survived, and so many other characters
The
survived.
Emperor, well, Palpatine, I guess it's a little different for him, but
Yeah,
yeah. So, but so the last shot I have here is I'll let you talk to that because you're a little bit more
yeah.
familiar.
So as I was browsing IMDb, I got a few interesting character presence and confirmation for the Ahsoka series. And West Chatham is one of them. So those of you guys who saw The Expanse, which is an amazing sci-fi series, there's only like 4 seasons. It's not like a huge project to overtake if you want to watch it. It's on Amazon Prime. It's a pretty darn good series, and I especially liked his character. And yeah, it's going to be in all 8 episodes, and he will play Captain Enoch, uh, who apparently is Grand Admiral Thrawn's right hand man.
Hmm.
So I guess we'll find out more about him. I was expecting to be Pilon, which we saw in the final 2 episodes of Mandalorian in
Okay.
the holograms. But yeah, he's maybe Pelhan is like on another ship, and Captain Enoch is on Tron's ship. So that's pretty interesting.
So
And I also found out on IMDb, uh, and they have known to be wrong
yeah.
for some
Well,
reasons.
it's filled by the fans and I guess not necessarily.
Yeah, it's like Wikipedia, right?
Yeah, to an extent, yeah. So like I mean, actors from what I've known, actors are going and just put on their own credits on there, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, but
So, well, two major Star Wars characters are listed for one episode at least. If you don't want to know about it, maybe mute the video. When there's no picture that's gonna be shown, so you won't get spoiled. But I saw that Anakin and Captain Rex will be in at least one episode, which is pretty cool. I mean,
yeah,
I would assume that Anakin will either be in a flashback or obviously as a Force ghost, and Captain Rex could very well still be alive. He, I guess he was in the Return of the Jedi.
yeah,
I like to tease Eric
yeah.
with the fact that
Whatever, it's possible. You know,
he's the old
we can
man.
bug Mickey about that, about the because he was donning that story. Hey, they even made a Hasbro made a set, no, like a figurine, like the bunker with that figurine too.
Yeah,
Yeah, so I guess we'll see if that actually is Rex. But I mean, obviously, when it comes to that stuff, I mean, that Rex wasn't even like thought of when that. So like, it's connecting those lines, just like your droid story there. The one that R5 is the one that.
that saved the galaxy.
Yeah, yeah. I just don't. I can't. Um, but I wanted to go back to this picture here. So, what do you think is with the story behind Sabine's short hair, long hair, different scenes. So at the same time, I'll play this. It's the new TV spot that just came out in the
Yeah.
background. So hopefully it doesn't lag too much. But you see her here with her long hair. You're gonna see her wielding the lightsaber. I think shortly you go Thrawn over here. August
Hmm.
23rd. We forgot to mention we officially have a date
Yeah,
for his premiere. There
that
she
was
is.
yesterday's big announcement. So she has long hair when she wields the saber. So I would assume that when we see her with short hair, it's like shortly after the events seen in the Rebel series.
The flashback, I guess, or
Yeah,
it's not exactly clear. I guess the timeline of what's going on. I noticed. So
and with the longer hair, like will be like more in the present time. So
yeah, hmm.
because they had to win against the Empire first before they left to search for Ezra. So
What do you
and,
think of Sabine wielding the lightsaber?
well, that's not problematic for me at all because in the Rebel series, we see Kanan training Sabine uh, wielding the dark saber
Yeah,
because at some point she's in possession of the dark saber, and she gets trained, to fight with a lightsaber, basically. So that's not problematic at all. I think it's pretty cool. Obviously, not she doesn't wield the force, but she can wield the saber without a problem for me. Yeah.
Yeah. Hmm.
And we also learned that Ray Stevenson's character, Balin Skull, is a Jedi who survived Order 66, and he now works as a mercenary. So, did Shin Hati also survive Order 66, or did Balin just run into her and discovered she was force sensitive? Stuff like that. I guess it's for us to see in August. But yeah, things are promising.
And what would you say for someone who maybe a bit more of a casual fan, but with the hype of this coming out, what would you say is the best way? I mean, the easiest answer is to watch Rebels, but to get some more, because I mean, to watch Rebels to find out, I guess, the context behind all these people. But Ahsoka is a character that originates from the Clone Wars. So, do you know if there's, I mean, without having to watch all, was it 7 seasons of Clone Wars and was it five
Yeah.
seasons of Rebels, 4 or 5 seasons of Rebels?
Four. Yeah.
Is there, because I know that Disney puts some playlists sometimes, like the necessary or the essentials or something like
Yeah.
that.
For the Clone Wars, I think they have. I'm not sure they did it for Rebels, but watching Rebels is maybe,
It's
I don't want to
doable.
say mandatory, but
Yeah,
it, it's going to be a huge plus
yeah.
if you intend to watch the Ahsoka series, because in that series we'll see Era Syndulla, we'll see probably, well, we know Chopper will be in it.
Well, you get a lot of
You'll
Thrawn,
know,
right? You get a lot more of context behind Thrawn's
yeah.
story without reading the books, or if I think that
I don't think the
that's
books are essential to that
no.
storyline.
I mean, if you so
If
the
you
thing
fall in love with
is,
Tron
yeah,
during the
then go,
series,
yeah,
yeah, go back and read Timothy Zahn's trilogy.
both
He has
trilogies he's
two
got
trilogy.
too,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's it.
But
So
definitely, I mean, if just to get an overall, I think it's a continuation. Basically, it's your series, your real life series of live action series of Rebels. So, and there's Ahsoka that's in there as well. But if you wanted to get more about Ahsoka, obviously it's Clone Wars about her being Anakin's Padawan. If you haven't seen that, but if not, if you want to just get a quick catch up, trying to hammer through Rebels and look up on Disney Plus to see if they have a playlist on any of the characters. Usually by character you can find it. So if there is one,
and if you want to watch, if you say, well, okay, I'm going all in uh, on the Star Wars website, there's like a list of episodes from the Clone Wars. They are listed as the way it should be watched. Because if you go season one, all the episodes, season two, you'll see some inconsistency in terms of chronology. But they listed all the episodes like the correct way to watch them all, so it's gonna enhance your experience a lot. And then you go and watch the Rebel series, and you'll fall in love with the Ghost Crew, basically. For those of you who saw The Mandalorian, where Carson Teva has his little rebel base, or not rebel, but New Republic base. There's like a little cantina, and he speaks with a guy named Zeb, like a purplish character, and he's also a member of the Ghost Crew. His name is Garazeb Aurelios, and his design was the original design for Chewbacca. It was Ralph McQuarrie's first sketches. Chewbacca looked like this, and they paid homage to McQuarrie's work in the Rebel series. And yeah, I thought it was a great tribute. We can say the same thing for Chopper. R2 was meant to look like this, and before he got his final look. So yeah, basically, you'll fall in love with the crew of the Ghosts, and we see the Ghost in the Ahsoka trailer as well. So there's also, well, all sorts of cool connections.
Yeah, so
I'm sure you'll love it.
it's intimidating to see that there's that many seasons of especially Clone Wars, but I mean, I think the quick fix from now till
Is
August
Rebels.
is
Hmm.
Rebels. At least I
Yeah.
think with you have plenty of time to pace yourself to watch them too. You don't have to go crazy binging them. But there's no chronology to it. Like if you obviously Clone Wars happens before Rebels, but it's completely different stories. So I would say if you right now concentrate on Rebels to catch up. At this point, you've already met Ahsoka and the Mandalorian and everything like that. So, but I'm pretty sure that considering it is Ahsoka's series, that you
Hmm.
will get a lot out of seeing her. A lot. It's fun to watch the evolution the same way that we're gonna see Ezra's evolution in Rebels. You see her evolution from a young Padawan, and if you go through the seasons of Clone Wars, you see that she's actually growing up. You go back and watch
Oh
Episode
yeah.
One, and you're like, "Whoa, she was just a kid." And
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Just
yeah,
like a whiny teenager.
but
And yeah,
it
we
gets really
see her
dark.
evolve and become like an interesting young woman.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's pretty cool to see her grow up. And I kind of feel like Uncle Dominic to Ahsoka. It's she became one of my niece, and I love seeing her growing and being a full fledged woman. I know it's weird, but yeah, it's it's all our affection we have for Ahsoka. So yeah, it's pretty cool. So that's why I'm watching Clone Wars right now, because I want to make sure I have time to rewatch everything and be ready for the Ahsoka series.
I actually
I'm
started
watching
Rebels,
three
so
and four episodes per night, 4 days a week,
jeez.
and it's crunch time. Yeah, and after I'm done with the Clone Wars, it's gonna be Rebels, and uh, I need to freshen up my memory to be ready for the breakdowns of the episodes. See,
To
you,
be
you
ready for
seem to be
Galaxy's
impressed
Edge.
with when I'm finding some lore stuff and everything,
It's
but
because you watched the
I'm doing
episode
my
last
homework.
night.
Yeah, I'm doing my homework.
Yeah. So that's it's you know what it's funny because I mean we're gonna wrap this up now, but like there was so much stuff I find that we went through, so many different
Hmm.
topics, and we managed to fit it all in that
And as
hour.
of
So
like last Sunday, we were like, what are we going to talk about?
and even yeah, so it's funny because it's happening, and it seems it's twice that I'm like, oh, we're not really getting anything from Disney recently, and the next day or the same day, whoop, here you
Boom,
go. Here's
email.
some news about Ahsoka. So, um, but even though there's no series playing now, we're gonna get really busy, I guess, in August where we do our episode reviews weekly. So that obviously gives us a lot. It's a lot easier for us to put content there. But
Yeah.
with the, I mean, I guess the interview is going to be weekly releases on Fridays as well to help you um, to like I said alleviate some of the pressures from the reviews. But um, lots of stuff coming up.
Yeah, and I've shot like quite a few reviews that haven't been published yet. So I'm backlogging a little bit the reviews, and I won't be able to shoot the week I'll be in Toronto for the Fan Expo. Obviously, not that I don't like you guys, but I won't shoot during my Disney vacation. Well, I'm gonna shoot some videos with you and Nico, just like quick tour of Galaxy's Edge, but
Get
it's
some
not gonna be
shorts
as
done.
extensive of a review yet. So it should be fun. But yeah, I'm getting all geared up to have some videos, waiting for being released in the fall. So
So speaking
and
of what's coming out tomorrow,
tomorrow is the Yoda lightsaber bundle review. I shot it last week. Nico edited the video last Sunday, and yeah, it's coming out tomorrow. Can't wait for you guys to see it all. My little short had a great response over if you take the French and the English version and bring them together, more than 2,000 views. So that's pretty cool. And I think it is, or If it's not, it's pretty close to one of the best legacy lightsabers Disney has released so far. Mostly because of the size and the realistic look. So it's a definite must watch for you guys tomorrow if you're into lightsabers.
And again, just a reminder before we log off, like we said, we have plenty of guests coming on. But if anyone wants to join us for a chat, whether it be collector, sculptor, artist, actor, whatever, again, look at the praise that we got from Joe. It was one of his favorites. We really enjoy doing the interviews and sharing it with people. So we want to just spread this community as much as possible. So don't hesitate to reach out with whether through the channel, if you can find either of us on Facebook
or Instagram or Facebook
or the chat, or whatever you need to do to get in touch. We'd love to chat, whether it be a casual fan who just wants to do a Q&A and try to test Dom's knowledge of Star Wars or whatever. Just reach out.
Prepare some lower question and I'll try to answer them.
All right, so you want to wrap us up there, Dom?
Yeah, so well, as usual, thanks you guys for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed tomorrow's review. And Eric and I will see you next Thursday. And until then, may the Force be with you.
Remember, the Force will be with you, always.